Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is our buccal and lingual contours. So here we can take it off the articulator. For the lingual contours we're going to put it back on because there we're going to have some contacts. Here in this step we're just gonna do the buccal areas, and that's basically completing the tooth. So pay attention to the periphery of the teeth, the actual teeth that were cut away, and follow the contours. You can build up the wax, try to do it in a way so that it does not don't bulk it out too much, and do a little bit so you can carve it back. Just imagine what the tooth looked like before it was cut away. So now once this is put on, you can just make sure that everything matches with the tooth itself. So go with the curvature, make sure everything matches together. You don't want to have any concave areas where the cusps themselves start going in the wrong directions. If you want, you can use your models, your unprepared models, like this, and kind of see where everything goes. With the exercise we kind of correct the occlusal scheme, so it's not going to be exactly like your other models, but you can pretty much give you an idea. Make sure we get our embrasures properly as well, so just kind of divide your teeth according to the natural tooth. Use those as a guide. So if it's over waxed, you can just kind of take it down exactly to where this tooth is. If you separated it too much, like I did here, I actually left a little space. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you close that. So you can take a little bit of green wax and kind of run your instrument in there between and kind of fill up your wax area here. Just don't do it too much. You don't want to make it look like it's one. If you end up taking away your contacts here, make sure you put the model back on the articulator and stamp those little dimples in again. But if you're careful enough, you're not gonna have to do it. Here on the buccal, we can take a little bit of blue wax, just so we don't make it green, and just add it right in there. You can add a little bit extra and then carve it back down to make a nice sharp separation there. Remember, this tooth have two distinct lobes, so you want to kind of make an indent here, a little separation. You don't have to make a line. Just gotta remember, you just have to remember that it's a more like a depression on the buccal surface. It's not really a line. It's very rare that you're gonna actually see a line. Sometimes you can even see a pit, depending on the patient. But for this particular project, we don't really need it. We're just going to kind of follow the scheme of the this model itself. If you take a look at the model on your unprepared cast, you're gonna see that there's no real line. It's more like a little depression that separates the two lobes. Okay, so this is our buccal contours. It's not too difficult. Just make sure you have everything down to the same level as the teeth themselves. So now let's add a little bit of blue wax to the linguals. Then once we added the blue wax, don't go too crazy and add too much here, because then we're gonna go return it to the articulator and we're gonna try to get the contact points on those cusps, but this time on the lingual side of the cusps. Okay, so now I'm going to return it to the articulator, and we're going to take a look at the lingual portion of it, and this will allow us to see where we may need to add a little bit to pick up some contact. Okay, so we see the linguals of the molars. You could build up a little bit more to pick up the contact on the lingual portion of the cusps. Here I'm going to add a little bit. So basically what we, so here I'm going to add a little bit. Basically what we want here is we want to make this a little bit more curved to be more ideal as of a contour of a first molar. These cusps are generally not straight, they're kind of bulbous. So what we want to do is bulb it out a little bit. See if we can get a contact on this lingual portion, like right here. And we can do the same thing on the premolars. Although if you don't get a contact on these areas, it doesn't really affect the occlusion, because we do have a contact here, 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 and over here. And that will definitely be enough to stabilize a tooth. But for this exercise sake, I'm gonna try to get a contact. Let's see. Okay, so we have a contact right there. So what's the next thing we're gonna do? We're gonna add the cusp of Carabelli. Which will be right about here. But you do not have to make it too big, just enough to be visible, and this is not going to have a contact anywhere. It's just a little area, you don't even have to put a groove there, but you're gonna see like a little area that kind of sticks out a little bit. And then we just take our instrument and kind of shave it down to where the original tooth ends. Can correct our embrasure space. If we have any little areas where we need to add, we can add. And we'll basically do the same thing on the other teeth. And we'll see if we can actually gain contact in those areas. And try to see what we can get. The premolars, usually you're gonna get a contact right on the tip. They're not very bulbous on the lingual, so and most of the time you're not going to get a contact on the lingual side of the premolars. You may want to get these cusp tips a little bit more lingual. If you do that, you might get a contact. Let's see if we can get this on the lingual. I think that if we add too much bulk to it, it's not gonna look right. So we'll just go down and carve this area down to where it's supposed to be on the tooth itself. The cusp should be close to the periphery of the tooth itself. If we bring the cusp tip too far lingual, it's gonna start reaching, and we don't want that. Doing our embrasures. As you can see, the embrasures are giving us a nice contour of each of these teeth. See, there's a good separation. Everything looks like an individual tooth. Make sure this tooth doesn't encroach on the canine. So you have to make your embrasure, follow the contour, and make sure that our embrasure is there on the buccal as well. Here, here, and here. It should go exactly where these teeth separate. Okay, so that's the buccal and lingual contours. We're gonna go back on the contralateral side here, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so now that we kind of finished filling up the lingual contours, let's put it back on here and see where we are. The lingual occlusion. Alright. So it looks like we'll be able to pick up some contours here, some lingual contacts. But I don't think we're gonna be able to do it on maybe on one of the premolars. We could probably do it. Maybe the second one. Let's check it out. Let's see what we can do with the first premolar. I don't think it's gonna work with the first one. Let's see the second one. I don't think so. In the first molar we already have those contacts right here and right here, so we're just going to add the cusp of Carabelli. Right here. Maybe a little bit more on this distal lingual cusp. And let's see what we can do with the second molar. I think this is it. On the second molar we have one contact right here. Let's see if we can get contact on the distal lingual cusp. Okay, we got a contact right here, so that's good. And that's it. So now we're going to take our instrument and shape our lingual contours. Go in here, do our embrasure work. Follow the tooth. Follow the tooth, you're gonna end up with the correct embrasure. Okay, so you can take a little brush and maybe just clean up the areas. And next thing we'll do is like we did on the other side, we're going to go in and make the inside the fish mouths a little bit neater. Maybe widen it if we need to. Let's use the green wax. Remember to make sure that you correct your contacts if you end up destroying some of them while you're doing this work. Go to the other side. So we just have to smooth out everything. On this particular model, we'll probably have to fill in some of the occlusal surface just because they are so deep. Okay, so that is our cusp ridges and marginal ridges and some of the occlusal contacts. Okay, so our next step will be the triangular ridges.